Patch 1.1 has arrived, and with it has come a bunch of different types of changes, but there's only really been one major change to the PvE, and that is critical attack damage has been improved. But in true From Software fashion, they just did not care to specify as to how much it's been improved by, so I'd have to figure it out for myself. So thankfully, I'd actually had some gameplay recorded from just before the patch went live, and actually did get a riposte on my guy Steven. So I tested it out again, exact same build, and it does look like it's about a 25% increase. Now I did go back and look at other gameplay and try and figure out what different types of weapons, and everything always came back at around about 25%, which honestly is really, really amazing. So with this change now, basically all posture breaking builds are just a lot better, maybe parrying builds as well, although I don't really care to use those because posture breaking is just way more consistent and way easier to pull off. Now, a good gauge in comparison to see how well this can actually perform is comparing it to charged heavy attacks, because there's plenty of times where you probably just benefit off using a charged heavy attack compared to actually getting the riposte itself. So I went through, tested out on Steven once again. I had a giant crusher, just use a heavy attack after the posture break, and it did roughly 1900 damage. Then I went ahead again, got the posture break, this time got the riposte, and it did well over 3000 damage. So there's much more of an incentive now to actually go with the riposte. And I even tested this out with the Royal Knight's Resolve weapon skill. When with the heavy attack, it did 3400 damage. When I actually switched to the riposte, it ended up doing 3600 damage. So you're just doing even more damage with the riposte, even when using Royal Knight Resolve, which is amazing. So yes, the riposte are definitely going to be the best play right now. So with this change, I decided to go ahead and make a posture breaking build and try and get high damage numbers with a riposte. Now, I actually haven't really done a top 5 best posture breaking build. So if you do want to see that video, just let me know down in the comments, because it's one of the few different categories I've yet to make a top 5 build video on. But for today, we're going to go over the Executioner's Great Axe, which is a weapon that does get 115 crit multiplier, and it has insane damage. So this thing actually gets the highest crit damage in the entire game. And yes, it'll even out damage things like the miss record by a long shot, because let's not forget, that's still a dagger. This thing is a great axe, and it actually gets the most range and the most damage out of all the other great axes as well. But basically how this build is going to be working is that we're just going to spam a bunch of charged heavy attacks with a Cragblade infused onto this heavy great axe. So yes, it's going to have a strength based build. And what Cragblade does is actually give us more physical damage and actually boost our stance damage by an additional 10%. And with the charged heavy attacks of a great axe with Cragblade, it actually does over 40 stance damage, which is really nice. Now we are going to have this heavy infused alongside a strength build, obviously. So we're going to have the Claw Mark Seal and just have a couple of different incantations, Stone of Garank, Lightning Spear, and Catch Flame, just some different variety in terms of damage types and whatnot. Now in our Wonders Flask, we are going to have the Strength tier, which gives us plus 10 to Strength for 3 minutes. And we do have the Stone Barbed Crack tier, which for 30 seconds, it boosts our poise damage by an additional 30%. So it actually does do a whole bunch more poise damage, as a posture breaking a lot quicker. Now, if you didn't want to use that, you could use the Spiked Crack tier, which actually boosts our charged heavy attacks, being that we're going to spam them anyway. It's just going to be more damage. As for the talismans, though, we're going to have the Ritual Sword Talisman, 10% more damage at maximum health. And we're going to have the Dagger Talisman, because now that critical attacks have been buffed, this is just going to give us 17% more critical attack damage. We're going to have the Axe Talisman, which is 10% more damage with our charged heavy attacks. And we have the Flox Canvas Talisman, which is going to boost our incantations by an additional 8%. Now you will notice that I do have a dagger in my main hand, which actually has Chilling Mist infused onto it, because Chilling Mist is just going to proc Frost very quickly, and proccing Frost in this game just means that enemies just take 20% more damage, which is going to make our critical attacks just be even more powerful, which is amazing. Now the reason as to why I have it in my main hand is because when I have Cragblade onto my weapon and actually want to use Chilling Mist, I actually don't have to switch off, inherently losing the buff, so I can still keep the buff if it does have the main weapon Executioner's Great Axe in my offhand. But yeah, that's pretty much how the build works, and that's pretty much the end of the video. Now, as always, please do like and subscribe, because I do have more videos coming along the way, because I do want to talk a bit more about this patch itself, and I'll actually end up making some more ranking type videos with the weapons later in the future after I finish talking about this patch. So yeah, definitely subscribe for that, and do check me out on Twitch, because I should be live doing challenge runs almost every single day as well. But yeah, the rest of the video should just be some more gameplay. But yeah, see you next one, guys. Bye.